guys, how's it going? And welcome back to Toon Tuesdays, your weekly roundup of Newcastle United news. And unfortunately, like most weeks, I don't have too much good news to talk about. We'll be talking about our very poor performance and result against Norwich at the weekend. I'll also talk a little bit about our upcoming fixtures, including our first game in the League Cup that was drawn last week, and we've been dealt a pretty tough hand in that one. And I'll also be talking about Rafa Benitez. I spoke about Lee Charnley last week, where he had released an article the morning before the Arsenal game in a newspaper where he effectively said Rafa had left for the money. Other comments such as, we now have a manager who genuinely cares, like Steve Bruce, obviously insinuating that Rafa didn't care. That was the Sunday morning in a newspaper. He then went on to make those comments and more in the actual match day programme for the Arsenal game. And I'm not going to go through it all again, but I effectively said that I honestly don't know what he thought he was going to achieve with that. I think a lot of Newcastle fans are trying to take a step further from Rafa Benitez now. We can't deny that it's a fantastic job, and the way things are going with us right now, I can't help but think I wish he was still here, but at the same time he's not, and we need to just get on with what we're doing, which is why I just physically don't understand why Charnley has said these things. I'm assuming he did it to be like, everyone, Rafa's a bad guy, you should like us instead, but in my eyes it's just how that would ever work, I have no idea. But as of today, and this is why I'm talking about it again, Rafa has come out and effectively said that he is unhappy with the comments being made. Do not blame him at all. A lot of what he said is pretty similar to the last time he spoke out against comments that were made by him. It's quite strange as well that he didn't want to say anything while he was here, but now that he's gone, he is coming out and talking a bit more. I understand it, because when he was hired by the club, he definitely has to watch what he says. But now that he's gone off to China, he's making his millions. I'm surprised he's even listening, to be honest. Is he not just out doing his own thing in his £200 million Chinese academy that he's got over there in his new team? Like, that is an incredible place to be. Why he's listening to Lee Charnley and Mike Ashley, I don't know. But anyway, he said that he had a number of big offers that he turned down while he was at Newcastle, basically trying to counteract the fact that Lee Charnley was saying that Rafa only left for the money. And Rafa's saying, well, actually, I had plenty of chances to leave while he was here, and he didn't. He stayed because of the fans, the city, and the potential. And speaking of training grounds, he also said that when he joined Newcastle, he was actually introduced to an architect who was going to help reform the training ground. And in the 3 years after that Rafa was here at Newcastle, the best they got was a lick of paint at the training ground. And as I've just said, he's now off at his new club at a £200 million training ground. The training ground itself isn't worth that much than all of Newcastle United. So I really don't know. You'd think Rafa would just have switched off from the noise that's being made on our side of things. But yeah, Rafa's had his say again. Is Ashley and Charnley going to hit back? No idea. But honestly, we have got much bigger fish to fry at the minute than listening to them two bickering anymore. And a big wake-up call for us this season was our game against Norwich at the weekend, where we lost 3-1. I said it was going to be a tough game. They were starting off their campaign against Liverpool on the Friday night away from home. Could anyone else have seen a different result in that game? Liverpool thumped them effectively. And if they didn't have a fire in their belly entering the Premier League, they were going to have one after that game, playing for the first time in 3 years against their home fans. And it was obviously going to be us. he was going to have to play them. We obviously lost to Arsenal 1-0 in our first game, and I actually said I thought we did alright in that game. I thought a draw could have potentially have been a fair result in that game. A very sloppy ball given away by us effectively gave Arsenal the goal that they scored. But in terms of the Norwich game at the weekend, we were not good. Obviously it was a 3 o'clock kickoff. I was actually down in London for a friend's wedding, but I did watch back an extended highlight reel of the game. And if you guys want to let me know what you thought of it down below, please do. But from what I saw, we just looked in disarray for large portions of what I saw. The fact that we were playing 5 at the back, and I know Steve Bruce is playing a more free-flowing, kind of trying to attack football, or at least that's what we saw against Arsenal. The fact that we've got 5 at the back, we should still be solid, and we really didn't look it. The first goal that they scored, I mean, obviously Pukki got a hat-trick, so big up to him, first Premier League hat-trick, but the first goal he scored, he just clattered it in the top corner. Dubravka got a hand to it, but it was a tough one to stop. But it was just the more of the fact that if you look at the number of Newcastle players in that box, and when the ball was falling out to him, like, was it just outside or just inside the box? There was no one anywhere near him, you know? So where is the organisation there? And that pretty much went on through the most of the game. Pukki's second goal, effectively, he casually made his way towards our goal with the ball as all of our defenders stood and watched before he smacked it in the near post again from Dubravka. And then the third goal, I should mention that we had a debut player on the pitch. Kraft was playing at right wing back. I mean, at this point in the game, we were losing 2-0. Players were moving forward up the pitch, but a straight ball through the middle of our defence for one of the Norwich strikers to run onto before squaring it to Pukki, who again put it in the back of the net. Kraft was marking both of them. And as I said earlier, we're playing 5 at the back, so yeah, we weren't good. Shelby got a consolation goal at 90 minutes plus 3. I think the 2 main things I would say about that game are, I know Steve Bruce's tactic is to try and get the ball forward and do a little bit more, but we're playing 5 at the back. We should still be very defensively strong. Our defenders are the exact same ones that were there last season, other than Kraft making his debut. But in terms of the centre-backs, we need to look better than we did. I do not know what's gone on, why we would change our defensive philosophy. I've no idea. Keep that the same and then let Brucey try and do something new with Joe Linton and St. Maximin. And I'll tell you what, I mentioned this last week, he definitely needs to do something different with those. The way, and Shearer said something very similar to what I'm about to say now. He probably watched my video last week and nicked it off me. But the thing I said about the Arsenal game was Joe Linton looked so isolated up front. And the best way I described it was when we had Rondon up front, he could bring anything down out of the air. That was his first positive. And the second positive was Perez was never further than 5 or 10 yards away from him. So if he brought the ball down, he knew there was someone near him. Joe Linton brings it down. He's still getting used to the Prem. He's not quite as big a lad as Rondon is, so bringing it down and holding people off isn't quite as easy to him. But when he does bring it down, Almiron is either stood 40 yards away on the wing or he's sitting in our own half still. The amount of times, and again, I've only watched the extended highlights. I didn't watch the full 90 minutes. The thing I watched was like half an hour. If he did it as much in the 90 minutes as he did in the half an hour that I saw, I'm not surprised he's having a nightmare. So we need to change that ASAP. I don't know what his game plan is. I don't know what Almiron has been told to do, but whatever it is, it's not working. We need to get them two together and playing with each other, just like Perez and Rondon did. So yeah, those are the 2 main things. Sort the defence out, get Almiron helping Joe Linton, and on to a very tough fixture at the weekend. In terms of fixtures, the Norwich game would be one of the ones that you're going to be looking at and going, that's probably one we need to pick up a few points on. We've failed there. Now we go to Spurs away this weekend. I mean, we've just lost 3-1 to Norwich away. I really can't see us doing any better against Spurs. Maybe that game against Norwich is the wake-up call that we really needed. Because, as I say, we did all right in the Arsenal game, but Arsenal didn't really put that much pressure on us. Maybe we thought if we'd walked into the Norwich game, we could just do the exact same thing. But as I say, they really wanted it. Let's hope that Brucey gets them going for the Spurs game, because he's really going to need to. And then the game after that, what I touched on, we play Leicester a week tomorrow, Wednesday night at St James's Park in the League Cup. The only two Premier League teams to get drawn against each other in the whole of this round. And it's just classic Newcastle. I think the only tougher fixture we could have got was Leicester away. I think the fact that it's at home is the only better solution than what could have been the worst draw at all. The amount of lower league sides we could have got was ridiculous. So, well, what do they say? If you're gonna win the cup, you're gonna have to beat everyone eventually. I guess that's the only way you can look at it. But in terms of a League Cup run, we've got a very tough one to start with. So it goes Spurs at the weekend, then Leicester on the Wednesday midweek. I mean, if you do want to go to the game, I'm pretty sure the tickets are like a tenner. So the fact that it's a home game for £10, and you can sit anywhere you want in the stadium for a tenner as well, I'm pretty tempted to book some of the seats in the Middleburn, get some posh seats on the go for a tenner, and just try and enjoy it for what it is. And then after that, Watford at home. To be fair, Watford haven't had the greatest starts, so maybe that one is potential points for us. And then after that it goes Liverpool away, which again we're going to struggle with. And then it goes Brighton at home. We've got to be looking at that for some points. And then Leicester away again. So if you're looking at the games we've got in the next, 6 or so that I've picked out there. Watford at home, Brighton at home. Yeah, we've got some tough ones to come. Early season, so we're going to have to get our heads switched on pretty quick. And that, guys, is where I'm going to end today's video. So let me know down below if there was any news this week that I may have missed, and I'll do my best to cover it in next week's video. As I said last week, now that the transfer window has ended and the matches have started up, there's not as much news to talk about each week. But if you are enjoying this series and you do want to see it continue a little bit longer, then please do drop a like on the video and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. But also, I want to hear what you guys think of what I've discussed today. The Norwich game, how bad were we, and do we have a chance against Spurs this upcoming weekend? Let me know what you think of the League Cup draw. Can we get a cup run on the go this season, or are we going to get stopped at the first hurdle by Leicester? And let me know what you think of the Sean Lee, Rafa Benitez bickering. To be honest, I can't believe that Rafa Benitez is even listening to it, never mind responding to it. So yeah, let me know down below. And as always, guys, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Have a great week, and fingers crossed for us against Spurs at the weekend. Alright, thanks for watching. Catch you later.